We are hearing SRIMAD BHAGAVATAM about Bindu Sarovar, where Swayambhuva Manu and Kardam Rishi, they will meet as predicted or as prearranged by Supreme Lord. Now the description is there about this lake. Mata Dvija Ganair Gushtam Mata Brahmara Vibramam Mata Barhinata Topam Ahvayan Mata Kokilam. The area resounded with the notes of overjoyed birds. Intoxicated bees wandered there, intoxicated peacocks proudly danced, and merry cuckoos called one another. Intoxication means very happy. Not that they're taking ganja. No, they are very happy. Kadamba Champakashoka Karanja Bakula Sanai Kunda Mandara Kutajaish Chuta Poteir Alankritam Karan Daveir Plaveir Hangsei Kurareir Jala Kakutei Saraseish Chakra Vakeish Cha Chakoreir Valgu Kujitam. Lake Bindu Sarovar was adorned by flowering trees such as Kadamba, Champaka, Ashoka, Karanja, Bakula, Asana, Kunda, Mandara, Kutaja, and young mango trees. The air was filled with the pleasing notes of Karandava ducks, plavas, swans, of ospreys, waterfowl, cranes, chakravakas, and chakoras. Tathaiva harineir krudei Shvavit Gavaya Kunjarei Gopuchair Haribir Markeir Nakuleir Nabibir Vritam. Its shores abounded with deer, boars, porcupines. I don't know what is proper pronunciation, porcupines or porcupines or porcupines, gavayas, elephants, baboons, lions, monkeys, mongooses, and musk deer. Pravishya Tatirtavaram Adi Raja Sahatmajah Dadarsha Munim Asinam Tasmin Huta Hutashanam Vidyo Tamanam Vapusha Tapasyugra Yuja Chiram Natikshamam Bhagavatah Snigdha Panga Valokanat Tat Vyahritamrita Kala Piyusha Shravanena Cha Pramshum Padma Pala Shaksham Jatilam Chiravasasam Upasamshritya Malinam Yatharhanam Asam Skritam. Entering that most sacred spot with his daughter and going near the sage, the first monarch, Swayambhuva Manu, saw the sage sitting in his hermitage, having just propitiated the sacred fire by pouring oblations into it. His body shone most brilliantly, though he had engaged in austere penance for a long time. He was not emaciated, means thin, for the Lord had cast his affectionate sidelong glance upon him, and he had also heard the nectar flowing from the moon-like words of the Lord. The sage was tall, his eyes were large, like the petals of a lotus, and he had matted locks on his head. He was clad in rags. Swayambhuva Manu approached and saw him to be somewhat soiled, like an unpolished gem. 1 second, soiled. Like dirty. Atho tajam upayatam nridevam pranatampura sapareya parya grihnat prati nandyanurupaya. Seeing that the monarch had come to his hermitage and was bowing before him, the sage greeted him with benediction and received him with due honor. Due honor. All those who are realized souls, they have due honor to what? They are never on false ego, falsely proud. Oh, I am such sadhu, who are you? No, they are duly respecting everyone, because they feel the presence of Supreme Lord in everyone. Grihitarhanam asinam samyatam prinayan munih smaran bhagavatadesham ityaha shlakshnaya gira. After receiving the sage's attention, the king sat down and was silent. Recalling the instructions of the Lord, Kardam then spoke to the king as follows, delighting him with his sweet accents. Nunam chankramanam deva satam samrakshanayate vadhaya chasatam yastvam hareh shaktir hi paline. The tour you have undertaken, O Lord, is surely intended to protect the virtues and kill the demons, since you embody the protecting energy of Sri Hari. Here in commentary, it appears from many Vedic literatures, especially histories like SRIMAD BHAGAVATAM and the Puranas, that the pious kings of old used to tour their kingdoms in order to give protection to the pious citizens and to chastise or kill the impious. Sometimes they used to kill animals in the forests to practice the killing art, because without such practice they would not be able to kill the undesirable elements. Kshatriyas are allowed to commit violence in that way because violence for a good purpose is a part of their duty. Like Dhruva Maharaj also, although pure devotee, and when he became king, he had to be violent also, because there was some unjust killing of his brother. So in order to protect the kingdom, citizens, and also to give proper punishment, he had to be violent. That is allowed for good purpose for Kshatriyas. Here two terms are clearly mentioned. Vadhaya, for the purpose of killing, and asatam, those who are undesirable. The protecting energy of the king is supposed to be the energy of the Supreme Lord. In Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says, Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam. The Lord descends to give protection to the pious and to kill the demons. The potency, therefore, to give protection to the pious and kill the demons or undesirables is directly an energy from the Supreme Lord. And the king or the chief executive of the state is supposed to possess such energy. And just I wanted to say, now Swami Maharaj is saying, in this age, it is very difficult to find such a head of state who is expert in killing the undesirables. Modern heads of state sit very nicely in their palaces and try without reason to kill innocent persons. That is now in Kali Yuga. Modern heads of state sit very nicely in their palaces and try without reason to kill innocent persons for their own selfish purposes. They are doing this. Yo arkendvagnindra vayunam yama dharma prachetasam rupani stana adhatse tasmai shuklaya te nama. You assume, when necessary, the part of the sun god, the moon god, Agni, the god of fire, Indra, the lord of paradise, Vayu, the wind god, Yama, the god of punishment, Dharma, the god of piety, and Varuna, the god presiding over the waters. All obeisances to you who are none other than Lord Vishnu. Yes, here it is stated in commentary. Since the sage Kardam was a Brahmana and Swayambhuva was a Kshatriya, the sage was not supposed to offer obeisances to the king because socially his position was greater than the king's. But he offered his obeisances to Swayambhuva Manu because as Manu, king and emperor, he was the representative of the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord is always worshipable, regardless of whether one is a Brahmana, a Kshatriya, or a Shudra. As the representative of the Supreme Lord, the king deserved respectful obeisances from everyone. This is according to spiritual realization. In Varna Ashram Dharma, there are these rules, but in spiritual, one who is greater in devotion, he should be given respect, regardless of his external status as Brahmana, Shudra, or Kshatriya, Sannyasi. No. What is his spiritual advancement? And if someone is a representative of God, he is in that function, he is also to be respected. Na yada ratam astaya jaitram mani ganarpitam vispurjach chanda kodando rathena traya natrasayan agham sva sonya charanakshunam vepayan mandalam bhuva vikarshan brihatim senam Paryatasyam Shuman Iva Tadaiva Setava Sarve Varnashrama Nibandana Bhagavat Rachita Rajan Bidyeran Bata Dasyubhi. If you did not mount your victorious jeweled chariot, whose mere presence threatens culprits, if you did not produce fierce sounds by the twanging of your bow, and if you did not roam about the world like the brilliant sun, leading a huge army whose trampling feet caused the globe of the earth to tremble, then all the moral laws governing the varnas and ashramas created by the Lord himself would be broken by the rogues and rascals. Yes. moral laws means what is duty according to your Varna Ashram position, that is moral life. And it is beneficial for all. But if someone is outside of that, then immoral atheist, then they are doing all kinds of things. So here Sai Maharaj is explaining similarly, when the Varna Ashram system becomes degraded, it appears as a hereditary caste system, only by birth, not by qualities. But in every society there is an intelligent class of men, a martial class, a mercantile class, and a laborer class. When they are regulated for cooperation among communities according to the Vedic principles, then there is peace and spiritual advancement. But when there is hatred and malpractice and mutual mistrust in the caste system, the whole system becomes degraded. And as stated herein, it creates a deplorable state. At the present moment, the entire world is in this deplorable condition because of giving rights to so many interests. This is due to the degradation of the four castes of Varnas and Ashramas. That is why it is very difficult now to have such system because of degradation, Kali Yuga. So one has to only chant Harinam and somehow maintain his life in this world only for the purpose of worshipping Krishna. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said in his last message, somehow you try to maintain. And if there is a society of devotees, then this Deva Varna Ashram Dharma can be practiced for the mutual benefit of all according to qualities, organization according to qualities, for maintenance and also for direct service of Supreme Lord, that can be applied where there are devotees communities. Otherwise, outside, it is very difficult to introduce this. No one will accept due to lack of faith in Vedic scriptures and this. Adharmascha samedheta lolupair vyankusher nribih shayane tvailokoyam dasyu grasto vinanksyati. If you gave up all thought of the world situation, unrighteousness would flourish. For men who hanker only after money would be unopposed. That is happening now. Not only they are unopposed, they are opposing others and censuring and all this. For the sake of money, they are doing all kind of sinful activities. Such miscreants would attack and the world would perish. They are attacking truth with lie and speaking this is true, that is lie. Just the opposite. And they are attacking with all means just for the sake of money. Athapi priche tvam vira yat artam tvam ihagata tat vayam nirvyalikena pratipadyamahe hrida. What is in their interest that is, although it is lie, but they will present it as the only truth, and that which is actual truth, they will label it as misinformation, this, and they will oppress, censure all this, doing for their own selfish interests, which are harmful to others. Means harming others in order to benefit their selfish interests. Athapi prichetvam vira yat artam tvam ihagatah tadvayam nirvyalikena pratipadyamahe hrida. In spite of all this, I ask you, O valiant king, the purpose for which you have come here. Whatever it may be, we shall carry it out without reservation. Next chapter, 22. The marriage of Kardamuni and Devahuti. Maitreya Uvach. Evam avishkrita shesha guna karmo dayo munim savrida ivatam samrat uparatam uvachaha. Sri Maitreya said, after describing the greatness of the emperor's manifold qualities and activities, the sage became silent, and the emperor, feeling modesty, addressed him as follows. Manur Uvach. Brahma srijat swamukhato jusman atma paripsaya chando maya stapovidya yoga yuktan alampatan. Manu replied, to expand himself in Vedic knowledge, Lord Brahma, the personified Veda, from his face created you, the Brahmanas, who are full of austerity, knowledge and mystic power, and are averse to sense gratification. Tat trana yasrija chasman doh sahasrat sahasrapat hridayam tasya hi brahma kshatra mangam prachakshate. For the protection of the Brahmanas, the thousand-legged Supreme Being created us, the Kshatriyas, from his 1,000 arms. Hence the Brahmanas are said to be his heart and the Kshatriyas his arms. Kshatriya, they will protect Brahmanas and do according to advice of Brahmanas. Ato hyanyonyam atmanam brahma kshatram charakshata rakshati smavyayo deva sayah sat asat atmaka. That is why the Brahmanas and Kshatriyas protect each other as well as themselves. And the Lord himself, who is both the cause and effect, and is yet immutable, protects them through each other. Material cause and effect is his energy. In that sense, he is cause and effect. But also, he is immutable, he is unchanging, because he is transcendental beyond these gunas. Tava sandarshana deva chinna me sarva sankshaya yat swayam bhagavan pritya dharmam aha rirakshi sho. Now I have resolved all my doubts simply by meeting you, for your lordship has very kindly and clearly explained the duty of a king who desires to protect his subjects. If one wants to understand properly Vedic scriptures, then he has to follow commentaries of Vaishnava Acharyas, these four, Ramanujaya, and also Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Achintya Beda Abeda, that is proper understanding. Otherwise one will be confused why Vedas sometimes say Supreme Lord is this and then another side immutable and not changing. How this is all harmonized, one can find in how this is in reality, and those who realize souls, they can explain how this is all harmonized and how Vedic scriptures they are speaking about this simultaneous oneness and difference between Supreme Lord as energetic and his different kinds of energies all working for him. Otherwise, one by intellect one cannot understand, or being misled by Mayavad interpretation that will not be correct. So we have to Sarup Damodar said to that one Brahmin poet, he told him, Jaho Bhagavat Poro Vaishnavero Stane, Ekanta Ashre Koro Chaitanya Charane, Gauranger Sangi Goner, Gauranger Bhakta Goner, Nitya Koro Sangha, Tobe To Janiva, Siddhanta Samudra Taranga. One Brahmin poet, he made one Apasiddhanta when writing poetry. So Sarup Damodar told him, you have to study Bhagavatam under the guidance of realized Vaishnava and take absolute shelter of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and always associate with his devotees, then you will be able to understand the ocean of Siddhanta, proper Siddhanta. What Shastra actually is saying. We cannot know by our own effort, material intellect, mind and language, this. It has to be revealed to us. Those who are surrendered, they can only grasp actual point. Dishtya me Bhagavan Drishto Durdarshoyo Kritatmanam Dishtya Padaraja Sprishtam Shirshna me Bhavata Shivam. It is my good fortune that I have been able to see you, for you cannot easily be seen by persons who have not subdued the mind or controlled the senses. I am all the more fortunate to have touched with my head the blessed dust of your feet. See how mutually they are respecting. Dishtya tvaya nushishtoham kritas chanugrahomahan apavrite karnarandreir jushta dishtyo shatir gira. That is why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Amanina manadena. You don't demand respect for yourself, don't desire, but give due respect to all. Due, how much one is due, then you can actually chant Harinam. But conditioned souls, we always want to get prestige, respect, even for that which we are not qualified. We don't have such qualities, but we want others to give us such respect as if we had that. That is Maya. I am not faultless, but I want others should respect me as if I am faultless. And not giving due respect to others as is due to them. So then you cannot chant actual Harinam. Dishtya tvaya nushishtoham kritas chanugraho mahan apavrite karnarandre jushta dishtyo shatirgira. I have fortunately been instructed by you, and thus great favor has been bestowed upon me. I thank God that I have listened with open ears to your pure words. Again, I'm reading. I thank God that I have listened with open ears to your pure words. See. Amani no manadena is necessary. And if we cause some harm to others, then we have to apologize and rectify ourselves and help that person, please him. But we don't want to do this because we never see our own fault. I am good or bad. So how I will apologize? I have no fault. In others there is fault, not in me. So once our God brother, he told to Gurudev that I am seeing everyone is defective. I am all right, but in the mat. I am all right, I am following, but all others are defective. Then Gurudev smiled and he said, yes, this is the symptom of conditioned soul. He sees like that. But a real one who crossed the false ego, he sees his own faults. And then he can rectify, and he sees good qualities in others. Yes, it's not so easy. Another one thing. And if they harm anyone, they will feel sorry and they will apologize. They will not try to justify that. They will not say, I am a devotee, so it is beneficial for you. Or they will say, they will not say, it is because it was in your karma, so I did. That is not real. Even if it may be true that it is in that person's karma to get that, but I should regret my wrong activities. And if someone does some harm to me, then I should think I deserve that as a result of my actions, previous actions. That person is not at fault, means he's not cause of my suffering. Supreme Lord is giving the fruit of my previous actions through him. So he can accept. That is why our Gurudev told we have to think, but of course artificially we cannot. Conditioned soul thinks, I am good or bad. But sincere soul thinks, all are good, I am bad. I did bad activities in past, so now I'm getting the fruit of my bad actions through these instruments, so in that sense they are good. Although in relative sense, they are doing wrong activities and they will also be will get the fruit, but from my perspective, I should see them as good because they are instruments to bring that fruit to me, which is beneficial for me. It is necessary for me for my rectification. But such vision, even though we may understand it, but practical application is not so easy. To see the grace of Supreme Lord coming when something is going against your liking, material enjoyment, not so easy. So we start to blame and we take revenge and we become hostile, and then whole mind is there. We cannot actually serve Krishna. This is very difficult. But anyhow, we have to try to practice devotional service under the guidance of Guru and gradually purify our heart so that we can be able to practice this. Trinada pi sunichana, tarora pi sahisnana. 3 is tolerant. Someone cuts him, he will not protest or even take revenge. And to the same person, he will give all his benefit. Generally, if someone harms me, then I will not be favorable to him. I will go against and try to deprive him. What to speak of giving him something good? It is impossible. So to become a sadhu, actual sadhu, is not so easy. It's just the opposite. As conditioned souls under the influence of false ego are like slaves. We cannot do anything. We are controlled by that false ego. Even we have all knowledge, but when some event comes, then practical that nature will come and it will be shown what is your status. You are sadhu or you are conditioned soul. Not so easy to become sadhu. Everyone can become sadhu in words, in lecture. But in practical life, it is not so easy. And only practical life can actually help others. Not only lecture, but practical life. Even without lecture, practical life can help all others. Sabhavan duhitrisneha pariklishtatmano mama shrotum arha siddhinasya shravitam kripaya mune. O great sage, graciously be pleased to listen to the prayer of my humble self. Graciously be pleased to the prayer of my humble self. For my mind is troubled by affection for my daughter. Priyavrato ta napado svaseyam duhita mama anvichati patim yuktam vaya shila gunadibhi. My daughter is the sister of Priyavrata and Uttanapat. She is seeking a suitable husband in terms of age, character, and good qualities. You know, Uttanapat is father of Dhruva Maharaj. So she is his aunt, Devahuti. Yada tu bhavatah shila shruta rupa vayo gunan ashrino naradat esha tvai asid krita nishchaya. The moment she heard from the sage Narada of your noble character, learning, beautiful appearance, youth, and other virtues, she fixed her mind upon you. tat praticha dvijagriyemam shradaya pahritamaya sarvatmanu rupam te grihamedishu karmasu. Therefore, please accept her, O chief of the Brahmanas, for I offer her with faith, and she is in every respect fit to be your wife and take charge of your household duties. Here it is very difficult because there are no qualified, but ideally at least we can hear. Grihamedi means to accept wife, means to satisfy the senses. But for a grihasta, there's a difference. A qualified wife is an assistant in every respect for advancement in spiritual activities. It is the duty of the wife to take charge of household affairs and not to compete with the husband. Compete. A wife is meant to help, but she cannot help her husband unless he is completely equal to her in age, character, and quality. So, because husband is not qualified, also wife is like that, but what to do? We have to purify with the help of devotional service. Both have to get good qualities. Due to bad qualities, there is this disturbance. Udyatasya hi kamasya prativado nashasyate api nirmukta sangasya kamaraktasya kimpuna. To deny an offering that has come of itself is not commendable even for one absolutely free from all attachment, much less one addicted to sensual pleasure. Here, in commentary, in material life, everyone is desirous of sense gratification. Therefore, a person who gets an object of sense gratification without endeavor should not refuse to accept it. Karda Muni was not meant for sense gratification, yet he aspired to marry and prayed to the Lord for a suitable wife. This was known to Swayambhuva Manu. He indirectly convinced Karda Muni, You desire a suitable wife like my daughter, and she is now present before you. You should not reject the fulfillment of your prayer. You should accept my daughter. It was arranged by Supreme Lord. We already heard before. Ya udyatam anadritya kinasham abhi yachate kshiyate tatyasha spitam manas chava gyaya hata. One who rejects an offering that comes of its own accord, but later begs a boon from a miser, thus loses his widespread reputation, and his pride is humbled by the neglectful behavior of others. It is offered to you, but you reject, and then later on when you need, you go to beg. So that is not nice. Another feature of this incident is that Swayambhuva Manu was the emperor, but he went to offer his qualified daughter to a poor Brahmana. Karda Muni had no worldly possessions. He was a hermit living in the forest, but he was advanced in culture. Therefore, in offering one's daughter to a person, the culture and quality are counted as prominent, not wealth or any other material consideration. But that is only possible for those who are in spiritual culture. I saw in India one family daughter. She, the mother, she was searching her husband, considering how big is the house of that future husband. I directly experienced this. That house, that is bigger house like this. So we are calculating by material possessions, not about spiritual qualities. Depends what is one's target in life. That is how he will put priorities, what is more important. Aham tvashri navam vidvan vivahartham samudyatam atastvam upakurvana pratam pratigrihaname. Swayambhuva Manu continued, O wise man, I heard that you were prepared to marry. Please accept her hand, which is being offered to you by me, since you have not taken a vow of perpetual celibacy. One is here in commentary, the principle of brahmacharya is celibacy. There are two kinds of brahmacharis. One is called Naishtika brahmachari, which means one who takes a vow of celibacy for his whole life, whereas the other, the Upakurvanu brahmachari, Upakurvana brahmachari, is a brahmachari who takes the vow of celibacy up to a certain age, when he is in Gurukula. He is studying. For example, he may take the vow to remain celibate up to 25 years of age. Then, with the permission of his spiritual master, he enters married life. Swayambhuva Manu requested Karda Muni to accept his daughter, since Kardam had not taken the vow of Naishtika brahmacharya. He was willing to marry, and the suitable daughter of a high royal family was presented. But you know, Bhishma, he vowed never to get married. You'll find in Puranic Charitavali. That is Brihavrata. Big vow. Rishir Uvach. Padam udvodu kamoham aprata cha tavatmaja avayor anuruposau adyo vaivahito vidhi. The great sage replied, Certainly I have a desire to marry, and your daughter has not yet married or given her word to anyone. Therefore, our marriage according to the Vedic system can take place. Kamah sa bhuyan naradeva tesyah putriah samamnaya vidho pratita ka eva te tanayam nadriyeta swayeva kantya kshipatim iva shriyam. Let your daughter's desire for marriage, which is recognized in the Vedic scriptures, be fulfilled. Who would not accept her hand? She is so beautiful that by her bodily luster alone she excels the beauty of her ornaments. Yam harmya prishte kanat angri shobam vikriratim kanduka vihvalakshim vishvavasur nyapatat swat vimanat vilokya samoha vimuda chetaha. I have heard that Vishwavasu, the great Gandharva, his mind stupefied with infatuation, fell from his airplane after seeing your daughter playing with a ball on the roof of the palace, for she was indeed beautiful with her tinkling ankle bells and her eyes moving to and fro. Tam prartayantim lalana lalamam asevita Shri Charanair adrishtam vatsam manor uchapada swasaram ko nanu manyata buddho yatam. What wise man would not welcome her, the very ornament of womanhood, the beloved daughter of Swayambhu Manu and sister of Uttanpad? Those who have not worshipped the gracious feet of the goddess of fortune cannot even perceive her. Yet she has come of her own accord to seek my hand. Tomorrow there is Srila Siddhanta Goswami Maharaj's Titi. So we'll hear about him. If there is some more time, we can continue here in Bhagavatam.